Hey there, friends. If you are just joining us, welcome to the English Speedrun Restream of RTA in Japan, Summer 2025. I am your host, Sporadic Erratic, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here for what is shaping up to be an amazing rhythm game block. We have two games coming up. The incentives have been met for both of them. Coming right up, we have Rhythm Doctor. Get ready for this category, friends. Hold on to your butts. It's any percent R30 plus blindfolded, no samurai, normal. That's right. Midori Kaeru, Green Frog, is going to be running that for y'all. We also have a fantastic commentator who is just about to be joining me. All right, so SSCHR15 or Chris is joining me on commentary. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Rhythm Doctor? I love this game, but please tell us about the speedrun.
Well, hi everyone. I frequently am online as Chris. I've just adopted it as a second moniker to me. So, hello. Rhythm Doctor is a fantastic game. I absolutely adore it. But that's a lot of words in the category. So, as a breakdown, the any percent is just getting through it as fast as possible. We're going to play through the main levels, as well as 2 night levels that are needed in the run, and then the credits song at the end. R30 plus means that we are on the newer patches with Act 5. There's the 7th Beat Games have released a bunch of extra content with Act 5. It's fantastic that they did it. It's a great game. Blindfolded as well, so they're not even going to see the game as they're playing it. It's fantastic. No samurai. There's an extra little fun cheat that you can do in there that we will not be taking. And of course, normal is just the standard difficulty. There's also an easy and an hard if you really want to push yourself or anything. But overall, it'll be a fun rhythm showcase with some nice gaming in there as well.
Plus, we hit the Beans Hopper incentive. So that means the mini game called Beans Hopper will be played, and the players are going to make donations based on their scores.
Yeah, so Beans Hopper is a fun extra mini game. The very basic premise is you're given various rhythms that you have to tap along with, and the longer that you can follow these rhythms that change every so often, the higher your score. It's great. It's a fun rhythm practice and can be really a challenge at times. I've only barely gotten the S+ for that in the past, so.
Yes, and in addition to that, I did want to talk about the incentive that has been met for the very next run. The next run coming up after this one is a Vivid Stasis Rhythm Game Showcase. Our very own Sawayoshi is going to be running, and they met the incentive for the most difficult song, Apocalypse Call, to be played at the end of the showcase. So not only are you going to want to stick around for the run coming up, but you're going to want to stick around for the showcase coming up next, because what an incentive. I'm really hyped. I love how they show all of this art on the screen. Please go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I personally have not gotten around to playing Vivid Stasis yet, but I've seen some of the art, and like I've played the whatever the heck it's called, the collaboration level in Rhythm Doctor of the game. It's great stuff. I'm gonna be really intrigued to see how the hard stuff goes.
Big same. Sorry, I get really caught up in looking at the fan art. I get a little distracted. I really love it. But, you know, I've been talking about these incentives. I haven't been talking about any open incentives. There are open incentives. Just a reminder, this is a charity fundraising speedrunning event, just like GDQ. We raise funds for Doctors Without Borders. You can donate right the hecky now. If you type !donate in the chat, that will take you to the RTA in Japan Doctors Without Borders donation page, and then there are incentives open that you can put your donations towards, including this one for Dragon Dragoon 3. They're looking for 400,000 yen to unlock it. They're sitting at 274,109 yen. Once it is reached, they'll play a section of the game that resembles a well-known music game. I don't know a whole lot about that. I do love music games, though. We also have an open incentive for the Psy series Trilogy Relay. This one is real close. They're going to change it. If we meet it, they're going to change it at 100% clear. They're looking for 150,000 yen, and they're sitting at 126,178. So not too many more donations left to unlock that. Doctors Without Borders is an incredible, incredible organization. If you feel that you have the means to donate, please do consider doing so. I also want to remind everybody that all of this incredible commentary is brought to you by volunteers like you. And something that's really, really amazing about the English Speedrun Restream is that we are still accepting commentators throughout the event. So while it may seem like we have commentators for every single run, we do not actually. There's still plenty we could use some help with. I would definitely, if you feel like that's something that you would like to help out with, you can type !schedule in the chat to take a look at the English schedule, see if there are any games that you think that you would enjoy providing commentary for. And then if you type !form in the chat, you'll be taken to our application form to be a commentator. You can even join as a commentator mid-run, and I'll tell you what, your host will be very excited.
Wait, you can volunteer to commentate these things? I thought I just phased into existence.
You know, however you appeared, I'm glad that you're here. Look, I haven't even seen these red slimes before. This transition screen is out of control. Have there been more enemies every single day? Look at these flying enemies. Oh my gosh.
I've not been paying nearly enough attention, but boy, is it fun to see it.
During my first shifts, we had some slimes and some king slimes, and that was it. We definitely didn't see any of these super attacks coming from RTA-chan. We have RTA-chan ×4 here. It looks like we have mage RTA-chan, perhaps warrior or barbarian RTA-chan, archer RTA-chan, and of course princess RTA-chan. I also really like that Archon is coming to the rescue. We have our little Archons with the spears. Oh, this is the best. You know, no worries, only here for Ghost Trick. You definitely don't have to push yourself outside your comfort zone. We appreciate the thought. It looks like our runner is ready. Everybody get so hyped for Rhythm Doctor, any percent, R30 plus, Blindfolded, No Samurai, normal, run by Midori Kaeru from Green Frog. I love that, croaking Green Frog. Amazing.
Hi. 今回、緑ガエルさんが走られますこのカテゴリーの元奏者兼、本物の医療従事者の東堂介と申します。よろしくお願いします。
The run will be I think we'll be getting ready shortly, and basics as we get into this. This is a one-button rhythm game. 7th Beat Games does this with this, and also their other rhythm game, A Dance of Fire and Ice. They're both one-button rhythm games. All you need is a single button to play the game, be it a keyboard on controller. You can even use your mouse. The game Rhythm Doctor recommends using the space key. All of the text prompts will tell you press space to do these, but you can hit pretty much whatever you want. And the general goal is to press at the right time.
2よし、3見てないですね。ああ、よかった。完璧ですね。
I saw this game for the first time at Day of the Devs, which is a really fantastic event that showcases a lot of not yet debuted indie games. And I was really excited when I saw it there. So it's really exciting. Let's get to be seeing it now being destroyed at RTA in Japan. Blindfolded, no less.
行きましょう。さあ、こちらのゲームは、セブンスビートゲームス様による心拍に合わせてボタンを押すと患者を治療できるという世界の中で、リモート研修となってストーリーが繰り広げられる。
So the first thing we have here is there's a quick tutorial on the very basic mechanics of the game. The first thing that we learn is that you have to hit on the 7th beat. The titular 7th beat, as you might realize from the 7th Beat Games studio that are behind this amazing game. So it's simple. Count to 7, hit on the 7th beat, and you are well on your way to the first couple levels.
はい、でここで医師のイアンと女優のエイダのチュートリアルが終わるとそのまま1の1になります。で、大まかな部分はご説明いたしますが、ぜひね、音楽を堪能してほしいと思いますので、ところどころ黙ります。ご了承ください。それでは1の1いきましょう。サムライテクノ。
So here is the first level.
はい、ではここでは侍の心拍が乱れていますので、チュートリアルの通りに7拍目に叩いて治療していきます。では簡単に画面の見方をご説明いたします。左上にあるのは音のずれでプラマイ0が最速、右のハートは患者の心臓を示し、ミスすることにひびが入り、最終的にはひよこが生まれちゃいます。でこの後半部分ですと、心拍のテンポが割と速いので叩き遅れがないように注意しましょう。でこの侍ですね、背景の方に全てのワードで登場しますので、どこにいるか探してみてください。ちなみにですが、この侍が出てくるところのみが中国語となっております。さあ、ここから表拍と裏拍が交互に入れ替わっていきますので注意が必要です。
And here we are getting the first syncopated rhythms. Right there, we had a few of them that were landing on the offbeat. So you always got to keep that in mind while you're playing the game. It's all over the place. First level was called Samurai Techno. It's a great introduction to the game. And starting now, we can skip all of the tutorials. So this level, we are being introduced to silent beats. They essentially skip the beat. You don't hear the audio clue, and all you see for a visual clue is a little X that shows up here. Just highlights like that. So you have to have a good sense of rhythm starting here. If you listen really closely, you can hear just barely the audio cue still playing, but it's incredibly quiet, and the backing music track frequently just does not include any kind of notes there.
奥にうっすら見えている少女のヘイリーに告白ができず、心臓に痛みを感じるようになったので、先ほどと同様に治療をしていくという流れになっております。お察しの通りね、声の病ですね。
On the top left, you can see a metric of showing how far ahead or behind the beat our runner is doing, and that gives a general sense, if you're watching, of how accurate it is. But in general, you'd mostly there's a lot of leeway, especially on easy mode, but in general, there's a good amount of leeway here to give you a little bit of room for if you make a slight error. And even if you miss one, it isn't an instant death. Each level has some minimum number of mistakes before you start going down ranks. And going from S plus being perfect down to D plus. As you get lower in those rankings, that's more mistakes. But as long as you get at least a C plus, you can move on to the next level.
はい、OK です。さあ、この後、2人の相合い傘が流れて、ここで1の2終了になります。
At the end there, we did see a second patient being treated. It was by Paige in this case, the doctor that was there. And that for that level, you do not need, or you do not play the second character, but in upcoming levels, it will be a frequent occurrence of having to play this. This is the Act 1 boss stage now. We will be seeing harder rhythms overall, but still keeping with that hitting on the 7th beat thing. And we are going to be introduced here to glitches that are occurring. These are both visual and audible glitches. But if you are able to keep track of count, it still is exactly that 7th beat without fail as to how the actual glitches occur.
はい、こんな感じでね、だんだんバグってきます。まだこれはね、バグがね、ちっちゃい方なんで、これからね、もっとバグってきます。皆さん、画面にご注目ください。さあ、この会話シーンが挟まった後は、さらに強くなり、画面が砂嵐になったりとか、バグったりして発火を数えるのがさらに困難になってきます。で、ここからなんですけど、フラッシュがかなり強くなるので、ご視聴の皆様、ご注意ください。ご覧のスマホは。
Yeah, if you are trying to get perfect on every level, it may take a whole lot of skill. It took me quite a while to get perfect on some of the levels. The end of act levels, such as this one, do not rank from the D plus and up. Instead, they give either a complete, a perfect, or a fail. That's all you have for the boss levels, but that is more than enough in most cases.
目が光ったりとか、首が360度回ったり、ゲームオーバー時には首が外れたりと急にコラゲン出てきますくらいになります。OK、いいですね、完璧です。多分これはコンプリート。
And with that,
これはパーフェクトか。
that's Act 1 complete.
怪しいところ1個あった気がするけど。
終わったけど、これどうだ
Fantastic work there.
3連続。
As we will be entering Act 2.
さあ、結果は
Perfect.
あ、パーフェクト。
おー、やった
Yeah, the commentator called it.
さあ、終了後はステージの上質性頻迫病棟へ移動します。ちなみに今までいた場所は
Yeah, I typically can figure it out based on my prior knowledge of the game, but maybe hard to identify at a glance. So here we get introduced to our second type of rhythm. Instead of hitting on the 7th beat, we will now be hitting what are called one-shots, where you have to hit every other beat at the rhythm indicated by the ready, get, set, go. That was at the beginning there.
どういう症状かというと、突然脈拍が速くなったと思ったらゆっくりと元に戻っていくという、胸痛やめまいを引き起こす、不整脈の意識になっておりますね。かなり音楽もね、ちるいので皆さんよく聴いていきましょう。でこれね、右下に映ってるこの手はですね、ミドルガイアさんの手になっておりまして、一応エディット画面が、このゲームありまして、この手を、自分で改造して絵を描いたりとか文字を入れることができます。
There, you have with that the actual times that the notes were occurring were here and there, but it always stayed on that every other beat. Everything prior to the actual time you hit does not matter. It's a whole lot of counting. And here again we have another patient being treated by, in this case, it is, I've forgotten names. I'm great at this.
そうこんな感じでなんと脈が戻ります。
Is it gonna be hard to remember the name of every character in the game?
よくわかんなくなってます。ただ上の松は
Some names are much easier to remember than others, but for some reason I just have trouble with especially the doctors.
S プラスすごい4連続です。4連続パーフェクト。
But typically the names in the game are, I'm pretty sure, all some kind of pun or play on words. Like this patient with this red sweater and red cap, his name is Cold Brew, as he drinks a lot of coffee. This level is the one that kind of shows things off here, as rhythms will now be changing, or the rate at which the one-shots happen, and so you have to keep track of, as these ready, get, set, goes are called, that you can keep track of the speed. The level is called supraventricular tachycardia, and that is in fact a medical term. It does not refer to this, however great that would be. But it's the style of this level in particular is kind of similar to the heart condition itself.
Plus, theming in the game where this particular patient has some heart problems and drinks really a lot of coffee. Like, well, maybe cut back on the coffee.
Yeah, Cole is quite the character, drinking a lot of coffee and trying to write music, but it's kind of hard at times. If you're just overwhelmed with the caffeine, you can have some troubles.
It's
been a while since I played this game, but watching it now, would you say that there would be a flashing lights warning for this game, maybe?
Yeah, I could see some levels are particularly bad with that. I'd say that's probably one of the worst levels when it comes to that. But in an upcoming mechanic, not in this level, but soon, there will be a very challenging mechanic that if you're playing in just a full screen view, would be incredibly flashing lights warning. That's later. I do not know if the level will be played like that, but we'll find out. In this level, Puff Piece, we are introduced to Swing. And so the beat that you're supposed to hit on was actually swung, and the cues are also in general swung along with the music as a whole. I believe this is one of the. I believe this level has some of the most rhythm changes by call. Most of the others don't have this many, but every level's gotta have a few unique mechanics, and it can be challenging at times. If you're not used to how something begins, it can be challenging, yeah. Our barista here is named Nickel Tang, as reference to she needs a smoke break every so often.
Get, set, go.
これおそらく眠っているニコールに対する配慮だと考えております。うわマジかすげえ。
Another S
さあ
plus,
続きまして
meaning no
Very
mistakes happened during that round.
ただこちらね、ストーリーを読むだけのステージなので、RTA なのでね、特に読まずにすぐに離脱します。
さようなら。
バイバーイ。
That was a
さあ2面ボスステージ
an extra song, giving a little break. You can skip right through it. It's just a nice peaceful thing. You can hear music and things. So
さあ2拍目で
now we're into Act 2 boss. If you notice, the area is actually a lot smaller.
集中力をそがしに行きます
This is in simulated mode, but this game has a thing called window movement, where if you're playing, the actual window will be moving around.
お分かりの通り
And so in simulated mode, it basically gives you a fake desktop and puts the window on top of that, so that way you don't have to worry about like actual desktop or extra screens or anything. It just works here. Yeah, you were playing this on your own computer with fantastic. This level in particular, I would issue a flashing lights warning, as the window will start moving around much more chaotically.
はですねボスでも出てきた Wi-Fi 信号妨害ウイルスですね。その影響によって画面が少しバグっていきます
Surprising, in my opinion, visuals in the
さ
background.
らにバグが出てきます
It can be a lot to process at times.
And stop. Get
さあここで作曲のコールからバリスタの店員ニコルの方に変わりますさあまたコールに戻りますでここでコールとニコル2人で登場しますねここ男性ボーカル女性ボーカル非常に気持ちいい曲になっておりますので結構ねファンの方も多いというふうに噂されてますにしてもうまいですね
Now, do we have a little bit of a romance subplot here?
That's one way to view it. I haven't looked into the relationship lore between characters, but I guess that there's bound to be something.
Could simply be a love of coffee.
I mean, love of the things that put you in a hospital, apparently. But
さあこれ一回止まります
Cole and Nicole here, despite the similar names, they get along very well, the two of them. I don't think the game ever goes into too much detail other than suggesting that overall they were friends, but
本当に危ない
great to see. So yeah, this is a really fun thing to see on the desktop, of the window just going back and forth.
これをリズムキープできるかどうかがポイントになります
And that really tests your capability to play from the audio and not so much the visuals,
でこのサビは画
as
面
it's
が
really hard to follow a window that moves like that.
Yeah, I am not ashamed to say that this is where I started struggling with this game.
悪気がきます最後のノーツご注目
And
ください
sometimes it helps to close your
そうで
eyes.
す
And before we leave the song, if you notice, the little file explorer that's there is a reference to a song that we have not played. I don't recall if it's played in the game. No, we do not play it in the speedrun.
さあ2つパーフェクト
But
素晴らしい
2-1N is called Wish I Could Care Less, and that file window was the lyrics of the song. Okay, I'm wrong. We are playing it.
移っていきます
So those lyrics that you just saw,
さあどうでしょうか
you now get to listen along to them. And I do believe there's also lyrics, but they may be in Japanese for this. I am not 100% sure.
するためにまず2の夜の強化版ステージやっていきますでここで新しいスキップのビートスキップが登場します
So this introduces another extra thing.
1小節分
If you notice there, we had the little maraca shake sound.
これ初見だと
I believe that's what it is.
正確に使ってません
It's called a skip shot, where essentially for one single beat in the rhythm, you do not hit it,
曲になっておりまして
but otherwise you're keeping the same rhythm the whole time. And so when you hear that rattle, you just have to pause. You don't need to hit. It doesn't punish you if you do hit during that beat. But it's if you're having troubles, it won't hurt to hit it, but it sounds fun if you manage to stop yourself.
さあ、侍片木登場ですね。
I guess tomorrow we'll give it another go.
さあ、ここで後半部分に入ります。ビートスキップ、1回スキップして、OK。さあ、この後半からは背景がリズムドクターのアイコンやクラフトポーション様のアイコンがぐるぐる回って、悩みを巡っているっていう風な感じになっております。はい、で最後はみんなが集まって大団円ですね。マジか。
よしよしよしよし。
すげえな。はい、そしたらじゃあ終わったら一般病棟へと戻り、
And with that, that is
スキップをしていきます。
the Act 2 levels we'll be playing. We're now heading into Act 3, where we go back to our previous mechanic of counting to 7. That's the main mechanic in this section, but the big thing is now pretty much the whole act revolves around juggling multiple characters around and the different rhythms of those characters.
ここは目隠しがかなり難しい部分になっております。いいですね。でこの鳥なんですけど、また
Not to put you on the spot, but do you remember the name of this adorable bird?
No, I do not remember the name of the adorable bird.
All right.
I can look it up really fast. It appears to not have a name. Cockatiel is just how it's referred. One of the birds in Act 3 revolves around the birds and their guest owner, Mrs. Stevenson, being in the hospital.
この辺から連続でね、ボタンを叩くことが増えてきて、難易度もかなり上がってます。さあ、ローガン・ヘイリーが一旦治療から抜け出し踊り始め、鳥のみの治療となります。
This act is where we see a lot of the romance-related stuff happening. These two are in love with each other, but are unable to properly convey their feelings to each other. And as a result of them getting worried or I'm so great at words, I can never remember the word. Anxious. The two end up needing some of this this rhythm heart care here. And now we get to be introduced to a fun character. His name is Richard Hugh. His full name is Richard Danhugh. And he is a certain politician that would like to have a word about his care at this hospital. This level is where the difficulty really ramps up, especially in night mode. I believe this one was, prior to Act 5, one of the hardest levels for me to get perfect on. The nighttime has a lot of characters shuffling around, and it can be a real challenge if you are not prepared for it.
政治家リチャードの登場です。3拍目と6拍目に×がありますね。いいですね。
They didn't go subtle with this character design, did they? Is that like a demon tail?
Yes, that is a demon's tail on this politician here.
Apparently.
And that banner in the background does say, more ifs, more care.
Wants everybody to work harder.
少年政治家の心拍信号が2回流れるのでリズムがかなり崩れます。なので心拍音をよく聞いてさばく必要があります。
Yeah, he is quite the character. He would prefer to get his care done and over with and get out of there. But of course, there are other people in this hospital.
連続2タップが出てくるんです。急にこうですね。
He is not the only one in this hospital. Everybody needs some care.
マジかってなりましたよ。
よし、でしょ。
マジで言ってる？できてる？
よし。
なんでできるん？やばいね、すごい。
いや、今日すごい。
今日すごい、完璧ですね。さあ、続いて3の3に行きましょう。Distant Duet。
And off we go to Distant Duet. This is where we get to meet Mrs. Stevenson, the wonderful lady that represents the level, and her husband, Mr. Stevenson. I don't believe they give names here, like proper first names. But for the daytime version of this level, the regular version, you only have to care for Mrs. Stevenson. The other nurse in the hospital, Paige, takes care of Mr. Stevenson for you. In the nighttime, you do have to take care of both.
今はまだ通常の不規則な波形なんですけど、この後ですね、このボイスブロックの波形なんですけど、早くて飛ぶリズム、そして遅れたリズムが7拍目に来るリズムがあるので、
And as we saw in Act 2, swing beats with those one shots, with those every other beat ones, this level has swing beats on the play and the 7th beat. And so this is a fun thing of counting, including the swing, which of course varies on each individual set of 7.
さあ背景にご注目ください。このね、この夜景から2人の思い出の写真が出てきます。で、
And here we get to see some photos of these two's past together. Some memories of the old days.
リズムがね、交互に来ますので、うまく叩き切るかがポイントです。いいですね。ちなみに何度か緑ガエルさんと打ち合わせの方をさせていただきまして、プレイの方を実際に見たんですけれども、絶対この辺からもこの辺まで1回ミスはあったんですけど、今回ノーミス、これ素晴らしい。
I have to say, this game has some of the best tracks of just about anything I've heard. It's very chill to listen to. Great stuff if you just need something to pass the time or you want something fun. It's great.
I've really been enjoying the music. Non-stop bop in this game.
Fantastic. I love it.
さあこの後背景から雨が降ってきます。これゆっくりだった音程が一気に速くなります。ただこれね、他の曲と違って SE がね、
I've gotten so used to playing the night mode of this song that even when I go back to the I still play Mr. Stevenson's notes, and it can throw you off. Sometimes it will count because if you play in close proximity but still early, it will count that as a partial miss.
さあそうしましたら3のボスステージ、ワン
And
シ
so
ット
will be
こちらボスステージなんですけれども、他のシットと違ってちょっと内容が変わります。内容としては、
It still has to go
勤務交代時間になっても来ないので、ジョイのエイダの
going to need to make sure
という内容です。
this hospital is doing all right. We're starting.
でこのステージではボスステージの中で Wi-Fi 信号妨害ウイルスが登場しない唯一のボスステージになっています。理由としては今までは患者の治療でありウイルスが邪魔をしてくるという設定でしたが、今回はページが死体の話のためと考えられています。緑ガエルさんの中では最難関施設になりますので、皆さんパーフェクト取れるように皆さんお祈りの方よろしくお願いします。さあ先ほどのステージで出てきた飛ぶリズムと遅れリズムが死体のステージになります。今までのボスステージにあった左上の体力ゲージですね。これ画面上にはないんですけれども、同様に規定回数ミスしてしまったゲームもあります。
Yes, it is indeed a blindfolded run.
Yeah, this level, if you were to listen to the lyrics or pull them up later or something, this level really healthcare is challenging. It is a lot to work. It's a lot to handle. So, of course, here is being in the healthcare, being the player here, deal with a lot of patients all at once.
国境なき一さん様ですね。はい、今回の RTA Japan の協賛の国境なき一さん様のチャリティーについてお話ししていきましょう。RTA Japan は、チャリティーイベントとなっております。本イベントで得られた収益は国境なき一さん様へ寄付されます。またゲームごとに目標金額達成によりカテゴリーが変わったり、使うキャラクターが変わったりする金額投票も行っております。さあ最後はエイダのソロパートに出現します。ここでも心拍のリズムが流れてくるんですけども、表紙が不規則になっていてちょっと難しくなっております。
One thing about this level in particular, if you were to prior to you would be leveled and there, you would not get this extra commentary. This tower here is doing an amazing job. We get to this whole section, and here is the single note where you can hit pretty much at any time, including not at all.
ちょっとここ少し会話シーン長いので、ちょっとね、
And as early as you can in the process,
とあるコマンドを打つことによって、
you have a little bit of
この
after song commentary of
歌詞も犬や猫の鳴き声に変わるステージが出現します。で、ステージ
working a whole lot of extra time here.
リズムドクターではなくリズムドクターに変わるというコマンドが存在します。
Our other doctor had to go on mother prior to being able to come to his shift.
どうかな
Here, Mr. Stevenson is missing.
さあ終わったらムービー画面を回収しに行って記者のアクト4に移行します。さあ次の4の1ですね。
ここか。
Now we head off to
トレインライドパフォーマンス。さあアクト4に入ると炭鉱夫が胸の痛みに
First one here is called Roller Disco Rumble. We are introduced to a new mechanic here, holding down. This will be indicated by those shakes. Hold down for the appropriate amount of time.
4拍目にスペースキーを長押しと離すを繰り返します。この長押しと離す2つに判定がありますので、両方成功しないと失敗扱いになります。感じですね。パッって感じですね。で、ボタンをホールドする長さは短いホールドと長いホールド2パターンあるため使い分けが重要になっています。なぜか侍がいます。はい、侍脱走中です。後半はね、かなりテンポが著しくね。
The art in this is real fun. There's Easter eggs all over.
ストーリー上にね、大きく関わってきます。
Bonus level of amazing art too. It's
さあ、ここから
all the characters instantly recognized on these, so it's fantastic. Earlier we saw that multiple parts of the thing can be set at the same time. If you have usually have two options. Either the whole period of time and then it will show you apparent, or it will be this where you will start holding and then at a later point finish holding.
さあ、ここ少し長くなります。緊張の一瞬。
Two separate cues versus one cue.
完璧。よっ
しゃ
With that is a perfect an S plus on that first stage.
さあ、続いて4の2インビジブルに移ります。さあ、今
I do believe we will be saying goodbye to the holding mechanic for a little while.
複数の患者を治療していきますが、このステージでは
This level is also very challenging
4人の治療を行っておるため
in if you are not ready for it.
さあ序盤は炭鉱夫と少女ヘイリーを治療していきましょう。でヘイリーを治療するタイミングに気を取られるとホールドせずにミスってしまったりだとか、炭鉱夫を治療するタイミングに気を取られると
I'd say overall, Act 4 has a major increase in difficulty compared to the previous 3 acts, especially with this level and the next one. If you are not ready for them, they can take a lot of time to be able to get through.
炭鉱夫と少女の心拍音を頭に入れつつ少年の心拍の音を聞いてさばいていきましょう。さあ見て分かる通り連続してタップを行うためパーフェクトを狙う場合は通常プレイでもかなり難しくなっています。このゲームね、もう本当に難しいところのオンパレードなので、気になる方はぜひぜひね、やってみてください。ちなみにこの作品ですね、まだアーリーアクセス中で2022年に施されたアップデート前は少年は政治家だったそうです。残念ながらリストラです。さあ侍も登場してきて心拍が遅いテンポで流れてきます。難しいかもしれないんですけれども中国語で「イアサース」と合図を送ってくれますのでそれを頼りにして治療を集中していきましょう。さあもう終盤に入ってきました。さあ現在3人ですがこの後増えます。4人です。さあ侍の合図に気を取られないように複数に治療していきましょう。侍を治療するタイミングはヘイリーを治療するタイミングの後なのでそれをメースに
And so if you are not ready for the various rhythms, at this point you kind of have to treat them as compound rhythms. As instead of treating them as 4 individual things, you kind of treat them as chunks of rhythm at various points that have some particular regularity. There's another perfect there, and off we are to 4-3. This is where we have a lot of characters. In the daytime mode, you are switching between these 4 birds of Mrs. Stevenson's and taking care of Mrs. Stevenson herself.
I didn't get to this point of the game until I saw the character names of all these different birds. Amazing.
Yeah, the Rhythm Doctor wiki is fantastic and indicates that these birds are just named what they are. We have cockatiel, parrot, owl, and oriole. And here we are back to some swing rhythms for Mrs. Stevenson. Again, the daytime you alternate between helping the birds versus helping Mrs. Stevenson, whereas in the nighttime mode you'd do both. And in fact here there is a moment of doing both, though this is the easier style where the 4 birds have the same cues as one another. And once again, Mrs. Stevenson here has syncopated rhythms. So not only are you hitting on actual beats, you are hitting on the off beats as well. And with that, that is another... I'm wrong, that's not the end yet. This song in particular always gets me as not quite being over when I think it's over. It's great.
My vote for favorite bird goes to Oriole. I like little dance.
One thing of the visuals in this game, every character has 3 different animations. Satisfactory or happy dance. Some kind of fumble, or if you are completely off, then the character
さあもうすぐ終了です
isn't doing so well in that moment. But here is the actual end of the song.
いいですね
And once again, our runner is an absolute fantastic player and gets a perfect on that with the S+.
ノーユーに移りますさあさっき言ったね
One thing
作曲家ですね
that we haven't mentioned about the
結構やばいです
actual
登場しましたワンショットノーツ再登場します
one thing about the not gameplay elements at the end of each song, depending on the rank that you get, you also get some flavor text. In that one, it was various
こんな感じでちょっと音が取りづらくなっています
golf terms that also happen to be birds. For that S+, you get
違和
albatross,
感を感じると思いますがちょっと
which in golf is being 3 ahead of par.
でここの難しさどれくらい難しいかというと僕もともとソーシャルゲームの音ゲーをやってて全国大会の予選に行くか行かないかぐらいのレベルだったんですけどここを本当に5回ぐらいやり直しましたそれぐらい難しかったですさあ1回目のサビから少女ヘイリーが入ってきますが1拍目と2拍目隠されており今までやったことないリズムが唐突にきますで視覚が制限されているため5拍目で押すことになりますで少女のリズムも特殊なんですけども、心拍のリズムはほとんどが作曲家の心拍のリズムをさばいた後に、来ることを意識していれば問題ないらしいです
With this song, they have these very slow one shots here.
本当に初見プレイの時は何回もやりなさそうです
It is a fun challenge to try to keep up if you're not ready for it. And then there's also the extra 7-beat rhythm on top.
さあここですねここサビ前なんですけど最後このヘイリーの心拍のリズムがめちゃめちゃ遅いですここをうまくさばけるかどうだいいね OK さあ2回目のサビに入りますここでは少女の心拍のリズムがスティーブンソン夫人と同じボイスブロックになぜか変わりますただ体感的にはこの2回目のサビの方が結構やりやすいと思います今度はコールのパートの方に移りますさあもう最終盤ですここをうまくさばけるか注目のポイントです
Quite a while, this Act 4 didn't really have a boss level,
ここですねこの3回目のサビは
but
1回目のサビが
the 1XN, also being the nighttime mode of Act 1, is treated as the Act 4 boss level. As once we complete this, we will be off to that one.
しっかりボイスブラックの音をさばいていってさあどうだ S プラスは出るかパークが出るか
しゃあ
Rhythm game.
さあ終了後
While
医者の
still
イアン
being
から病院の
extremely
大変だと
challenging.
連絡が戻りますさあここでは1のボスステージの夜ステージスーパーバトルオンインソニアクです
And here we are.
Wi-Fi 信号
This is where it gets. This is quite possibly one of the hardest songs if you are not ready for it.
何があっても7拍目で
As initially it seems as it's just a faster version of the daytime Act 1 boss.
難易度は相当
But
高い
about halfway through, we will get to see a fun twist.
2の1のナイトと同じく強化版設置になっておりまして心拍のテンポかなり速くなっており
Count along if you can.
序盤の方から猛威を振るいますもう一度言いますがお使いの PC スマートフォンは正常ですで一番最初なんですけどスタートしてすぐにやり直すとねバグの入った演出かかってきましたのでこれが10秒短縮です皆さんマナーモードでお願いします
さあこっからですね
さあここからですねさあここ休憩ポイントで Wi-Fi 信号妨害ウイルスは患者の心臓の一部を破壊します
Here we go.
変拍子になります
The doctor here, I finally remembered his name is Ian.
自分で考えながらさばきます
Ian and Paige here are talking now that a piece of the heart has been broken off. So now you're not counting to 7, and then there's also an 8th beat that follows it to keep a steady rhythm. Now it's only 7. So this is where it's really hard unless you have a good sense of this rhythm. That you're essentially playing 7/4 time.
いいですね。じゃあこの休憩時間のつかの間、まだまだ叩いていきましょう。
And that song
これは
is
Wi-Fi 信号妨害物によってもう視覚聴覚
Yeah, this section here gets incredibly challenging. The cuts end up being long, distorted, really hard to follow. There's one portion coming up really shortly here that's almost impossible to follow.
2025年現在でも何者であることは現状
Apparently we just passed it because I'm great at missing things. But yeah, if you do not have
が出るとパーフェクトなんです
a near and if you do not have a fantastic sense of rhythm by that moment, it's really challenging. With that, that was a perfect on that night mode. Really hard to do, and it was done very, very simply.
R30 以降のバージョンではステージ5が追加されたことで
And now-
our incredible runner here hitting that perfect once again.
実はこれコマンドですね。いいですね。そしたらじゃあ5の
Amazing stuff overall.
この5章を解禁
We are now entering Act 5.
2の1の夜面をクリアしていく必要があったので序盤に2の
With Act 5, we are introduced to Lucky. And he has a situation where he has injured his arm, if I recall correctly, to a near unrecoverable situation.
今見た感じですね。看護師
After a bad break from the from playing some baseball, he has to take a moment of rest here in the hospital. And so here, this first level, we are introduced to these multiple beats in the one shots. Not so much one anymore for these shots, which are cued with the numbers
リ
themselves.
ズムが3連符になっていてリズムがねちょっと難しくなっております いいですねリスクだ
And then we get a short bit of exposition here with Lucky.
休憩の方に入りますここは会話スキップの方ができますねその
He is having some troubles here. He just wants to get in and out, call it a day, and get back to playing, but it's not going to go his way for that.
3しか教わってないので初見で4をさばかないといけませんここです OK でこの4のリズムは2のリズムを2倍に
If you notice on the scoreboard, there is a number counting up. That is how many correct hits have happened. I forget how many are actually in this level, but that doesn't matter anyway, as here the scoreboard gets all jumbled up in this dream world of Luckies. But if you're doing well, it's fun to see that number go up as you're playing. It's also a fun challenge to try to watch the number and count up with it the whole time.
アクト5が発表された2023年に逆
Like
に
the
されました
visual storytelling of how tired Lucky is getting and how many baseballs he's hit that are showing up on the screen, bouncing back.
Yeah, this game has quite the storytelling in it overall. It's fantastic stuff. And another, like, the visual cues are fantastic. Of course, our runner can't see it. It's blindfolded. I love to reiterate, this is an amazing run. But with all of that, now we're learning that Lucky has gotten some severe damage to his rotator cuff, and he will have to stay in the hospital for an extended period of time.
さあここはどうかパーフェクトか
まずはない
全然全然。A プラスみんなすごいんです
A
よ。
plus. That means there were some mistakes in that. It was not many. There's probably only one. In fact, actually, check the count. I'm pretty sure it just tells you outright.
かかると医者から通告され、起こったら
but
次の治療を受けてみないかと話されます。
Hard to do all of these perfect. In this level, we are now introduced to an ice mechanic, where for one beat at a time, you have to delay your next hit, which will be cued here.
はい、これ今から僕意味わかんないこと言います。最初に2回カンカンとなりますが、2回なる間の分だけ次の200円叩くタイミングが通常より遅れるという合図です。その後にもう2回カンカンと流れるので、それを頼りにして2回叩いています。今は意味わかんないと思うんですけど、要するにカンという音が4回やった時に押せばいいです。これに関しては本当によくわかんないです。チュートリアルの説明も本当に理解が難しくて、チュートリアルだけで10分ぐらいやり直しになってました。
This game plays into some fun music naming.
本当に難しくて、ミドルガイルさんと何度もやり取り。
I guess cliches is one way to put it. At Act 2, that first level was called Lo-Fi Hip-Hop Beats to Treat Patients to.
で肩の痛みを一時
And now, as the follow-up, this level is Lo-Fi Beats for Patients to Chill to.
の正体は簡単に言えば単なる痛み止めです。ここからのリズムが非常に難しくなっております。ミドルガイルさん、この曲なんですけど、よく聴きつつ感覚で叩いているそうです。さあ、研修員さん、5連符のリズムに惑わさないようにと祝福されます。
The nighttime form of this level, in my opinion, is the hardest level of the game, where not only do we have these freeze shots, I forget the technical names. There's actual names for all of these, and I never remember what they are. Freeze beats. The nighttime version, called Unsustainable Inconsolable, has the inverse, where you have to hit ahead of the beat every so often, which would be okay on its own, except the tempo is really fast in that song. And at the very end, they throw one extra curveball at you by having to play a 5-part toplet.
ここカットシーンとして音ゲーというよりもミニゲームになります。アクト2であったすぐに離脱してもクリア扱いにならずにちゃんと操作する必要性があります。
Now we have the next break level. This one, I believe, is one that has to actually be played. But of course, our speedrunner here is going to speedrun as is typical. So notice in the top left there's a counter that goes up to 20. You essentially have to do the exercise 20 times. If you play this level on your own, there is some fantastic commentary. There's some fantastic dialogue between the various patients in this hospital. And there's a lot of dialogue here, but it's a very touching story to read it all. We get to see that Mr. and Mrs. Stevenson do get to meet up with each other, among a few other things. Fantastic. I highly recommend getting a hold of this game and playing with it. Playing the game through and through. If you really want the challenge, getting the S+ on every level and getting a perfect on all the boss levels, but that can be very much of a challenge.
It wasn't for that physical therapy to include dragging the samurai across the field.
さあ続いて3回目に行きます。これはまた最後に
Oh, now he has
Alright, the samurai has weights.
ホールドして3拍待ちます。
Samurai can't move as much when he got weights, but you know.
でちなみになんですけど
Here is the final exercise in this stretch break, where you have to hold
ストレッチがちょっと難しい
for a long period of time, equivalent to the full measure.
やめました
And if you are
本当に高いので
playing this casually, you probably are just going to hold for measure, rest measure, and
このステー
repeat.
ジの存在で
But of course, we're going for speed here, so I believe he is only breaking for somewhere around a beat or so, instead of a much easier to manage mentally measure.
まあまあまあまあまあまあ
Appreciate the runner doing the count
多分
there.
OK かな
どうでしょうはい、
よ
OK ですね。さあ、S ですね。これは絶対 S になります。さあ、最後行きましょう。5の
And with that, our stretch is done. We are off to the last of the main levels. This is 5X, the Act 5 boss. We are once again introduced to the window movement and a little extra special secret later
まずは
on.
いつも通りウィンドウ縮みます。さあ、まずは基本的に速い BPM が続きます。
But here is where everything gets thrown together all at once. This level also introduces something later on that is similar to the Act 2 situation of the speed increasing. It is signaled differently, and it is stated as you are hitting on every beat instead of every other.
Get set go.
さあ、この後ちょっとね、少し早いんですけど、1個新しいギミックが登場してきます。ブラストビートというナースの掛け声とともに、ホイッスルが合図になります。このホイッスルの音に合わせて叩くというものが出てきますが、テンポが速いだけ遅れないように注意が必要です。またホイッスル出てきます。この後ですね、はい、ございます。
And that is where that double speed
さあ、そしたら
happens.
そしたらこの回
This level is the only one to have a checkpoint in it. It is quite a long level.
いや、今回は
And here you notice the window is now taller. The unique mechanic of this level is that the window will actually change sizes instead of only moving around. There's a sneak peek at our fun little incentive that we had met, the bean hopper.
ここでライン
That I believe will just be done at the end afterwards, but
嫌だと断られてしまいます。
nonetheless very fun to see. And here we are
ただ最終的には
getting to the final portion of this level.
さあカットシーンスキップ後は音楽が重々しく変化します。
Lucky is wondering,
ここから侍出ていった
is it really possible for him to continue on
ということで頼みを振っていき
if he doesn't ever play baseball again? And so here he is facing his internal struggles.
テンポはゆったりしているため、さっきよりは、ね、優しめになっていますが、これですね、今みたいな感じのボスステージおなじみの Wi-Fi 信号妨害
That audio cue actually does play from the system itself. It plays the actual error sound of the system,
変わるらしいです。
which is really fun. So that chime is what you will hear on Windows systems. On Mac OS systems, you will hear something entirely different. But because Linux is so hard, if you're on Linux, it will just play a default noise instead.
ブラストビートに惑わされてやっていきましょう。さあ、この侍の打席が来るのですが、ここがね、ちょっと難しくなってます。ボールが打つと、
But here, Lucky has been coaching the rest of the hospital patients to make up
さあ、この後
some form of makeshift team.
ここ速い BPM でフリーズビート、分割ビート、ブラストビートがまとめて出てきます
And we got to miss some great lyrics there of it's fine. Lucky is going to give up the baseball because he has all of his friends he's met now, and they're taking up the role for him, so he can Take a break. He might not return, but it is okay. He has gotten through it at that.
これはやばい。
That was a perfect Act 5 boss, which is fantastic. Love to see it. And now we are off to the credits song.
エンディングステージ、ヘルピングハンズ。これクリアしてタイトル画面に持った瞬間がタイマーストップになります。
Titled Helpful Hands. It is a fun song.
Take my pulse and now you're gone. Well, I can wait a little more. We used to have heart-to-hearts, but lately we're a world apart. We folks are odd, but we are kind. Can we help you ease your mind? You're up before the sun is up. You're done after it's gone. But still the work keeps piling up. Don't feel like you belong. Applause is cheap, I know. Wish I could lend a hand, but I don't know much medicine. All I can give is thanks. Help me, help you, help us better. Make me understand. If there's a way to share together, take my helping hand. No one makes it on their own. Just tell me what you need from me. We share with you our meals, be sure to take our pills, proper care of ourselves. Feeling like you owe the world everything you got, and everyone around you is everything you're not. You just can't get your mind off the ones you couldn't save, the ones you couldn't save, the ones you couldn't save. Feeling like you're owed nothing other than what you got, and everyone around you is everything you're not. 8 more years of this, more than what you could take, more than what you could take. Oh, applause is cheap, I know. So take my helping hands. Being here leaves me feeling blue, but it isn't so bad with you. They've been waiting for so long. They can wait a little longer. The folks are out, but they
タイ
are
トル画面に戻ったらタイ
tired.
マーストップになります。
It's nice to help around sometimes.
よし。
はい、タイマーストップでーす。
Time is there.
GG! Oh my
じゃ
god.
あよかっ
い
た。
やー素晴らしかった。ほとんどが S プラス、完璧なプレーということで A プラスは1回あったけれども、本当それを加味してももう最高なプレーでしたね。どうですか、久しぶりの光は。
いやー眩しい。
でしょうね。GG。とりあえずじゃあまずお疲れ様でした。
はい。
デルガイさん、一回まず感想した感想をどうぞ。
まあそうですね。
Right, so
結構
coming
本
right
番
up is going to
で
be
結構ガチガチだったんですけどね。
bonus
本当に
incentive
観客の皆さんの拍手とかもありまして、まあそれで背中を押されてとてもいい走りができたと思います。そしてそうですね。RTA in Japan は本当に RTA 奏者として大きな目標だったので、本当に
Bean Sopper
良
is
かったと思います。本当にありがとうございま
we're
した。
back in a portion of Act 2 is where Bean Sopper takes place, where you play as the samurai and are trying to hop over a crate of beans.
とんでもないサプライズが来ましたね。
The lore is fantastic for the level. It's
あり
great.
がとうございます。Thank you very much.
さあそうしましたらね、これにて終了ではなくて、実はですね、一定の記録額に到達すると本奏終了後にボーナスゲームとしてビーンズホッパーというミニゲームをプレイします。で今回ね、記録額の方が無事達成しましたので、ミニゲームの方を行っていきたいと思います。
ありがとうございます。
もうちょっとだけ続くんだということでやっていきましょう。じゃあまずいきましょうか。
はい行きましょう。
じゃあ、簡単にこのゲームのミニゲームの説明の方をしていきます。このミニゲームでは画面真ん中にいる侍を操作します。で、少年ローガンと少女ヘイリーがビーンズと書かれた箱を蹴ってきますので、いつものリズムでジャンプをして箱を飛んできますが、これ1回でもミスったらミニゲームは終了となります。で、緑ガエルさんね、このミニゲームのスコアをかける40円を国家なき一さんさんに寄付しますと言っていましたが、 実はまあね、緑ガエルさんは社会人ではなくので、僕の方で、僕と緑ガエルさんの分を全額僕の方で寄付いたします。
マジですか。ありがとうございます。
はい。なので2回で終わらせないでね。
はい。頑張ります。
はい。ということでじゃあビーンズホッパー行きましょうか。
はい。
はい。じゃあまずは意気込みの方をお願いします。
そうですね。次ボタン押したらあれなんで、目標はですね、国境なき医師団さんのサイトを見たんですけど、4400円、そして1万円の寄付によって何が提供することができますって書いてあったので、なので110回、そして250回、それを目標に掲げて頑張りたいと思います。
それでは行きましょうか。
じゃあ3カウントでまた始めましょうか。
そうですね。じゃあそれでお願いします。
Beans. So it's fantastic. If you notice in the bottom right corner, it mentions GD Colon was the one who came up with the idea. They originally had used a Rhythm Heaven piece as a placeholder piece, but a remix ended up being the final song for this.
They made my beans hopper.
And stop.
You're quite literally hopping over beans.
Hopping over the beans.
8回ですね。
できれば早いテンポの16回が欲しかったんですけど、ここはしょうがないところで。
So this is the one where you do not get the extra cue that you would get normally with these one-shots. And here, the rhythm is changing rapidly, which can be very hard to follow.
ミニゲームはこのね、さっきやったステージに多いですね。ミニゲー
In
ム
the top left there is a score where every time you successfully hop over the beans, you get one added to that score.
本当に難しいんですこれ。
As if he were to fail right now, it'd be an A rank.
これ簡単そうに皆さん見てるからみんなことない。
But by passing 60, that is now a guaranteed S rank, regardless of the ending point here.
これは本当に難しいです。いいですね。じゃあ緑ガエルさん最高これ190ちょっとだった気がしますね。一応これ最高回数っていうか最大の回数が250回なので、250回で終了になります。その理由としては250回超えると曲がループしてバグるらしいので250回が一応終了です。いいですね。
いいね。とりあえずあと20。
ちなみになんですけど、これ侍空中飛んでるときにもう一回ボタンを押すと侍が回転します。あらかわいい。
As this game progresses, the rhythms involved get much more difficult. If you're not already, I challenge you to tap along.
半分。いいですね。今ちょっとコメント欄の方でもし時間があったら開発者さんにもやってほしいっていうコメントが来てましたが絶対嫌です。
あー、来たー。138。
Great score there.
ごめん、俺のせいだよね多分ね。
やった。でも138なんで、5520円。
はい、
じゃあ国境岸田さん、岸田さんじゃねえわ。石田さんに。
That's the donation, right? Because part of this is that they are going to make donations based on their scores.
That is correct. They did say that the score that they would get would be a donation amount that he would donate. So amazing stuff. That's Rhythm Doctor. There's plenty extra levels that we didn't see. We didn't see most of the nighttime levels. We only saw the one in Act 2 that introduced the skip beats. And of course, we saw the Act 1 boss night that ended Act 4. But most levels here have a nighttime version. And so there's a bunch more content to this. Plus, Rhythm Doctor has done collaborations with many other rhythm games. And so there's a level for the upcoming game, Vivid Stasis. There's that song in there. They have.
でちなみにリズムドクターの方は今
I'm trying to remember all of them, and I can never remember a
今
thing.
Steam のみなんですけども、1800円で販売されております。まあ本当にですね、
I have a list. It's great. There's 3 levels from Muse Dash, or 3 levels in collaboration with Muse Dash. There's a level called Worn Out Tapes from the game Unbeatable. Another level called Meet and Tweet from Bits and Bops. And Kingdom of Balloons. Which I do not recall the game that is as well. And the final one, Fixations Toward the Stars, being in collaboration with Vivid Stasis. We'll be seeing that game very shortly. Incredible stuff. I'll say shout outs to the 7th Beat Games developers. They do some fantastic. This and A Dance of Fire and Ice are both fantastic games. Shout outs to their communities. There's a bunch of custom levels if you want more game. Rhythm gaming is challenging overall, but some of the custom levels that have been developed have so many unique mechanics. It'd be practically impossible to name them all. And it's really fun if you need if you want some additional challenge, if you want more of Rhythm Doctor, it's great stuff. And of course, the community is just fun to hang out with.
続いては佐用さんのビートステイスになります。
はい、ということでビートステイスここにあります。
はい、実はですねこの作品ですねリズムドクターとのコラボステージがございますので、興味がありましたら興味が
Yes, we may be playing the Vivid Stasis game, or we're just going to be looking at it. It's great.
They're definitely at least showing it off.
じゃあ終わりにしていきましょうか。
はい。
Well, thank you so much for that fantastic commentary.
ありがとうございました。
And everyone, as Chris said, don't go anywhere. Coming right up, we're going to have the Vivid Stasis Rhythm Game Showcase. Sawayoshi is going to be running that for you. We're going to take a quick break before that. We will be right back.